John Wick, Ethan Hunt, Jason Bourne, James Bond. Four of the best fighters and most dangerous men on the planet are going at it. But who's ultimately coming out on top here? Well, today we're going to take a look at their strength, speed, durability, their skills, and their weapons to find out who wins. So let's get to it. John Wick. He's the ultimate hitman. Just a legendary guy down in the underworld. And even though he managed to get out of the life once, did it for love, was eventually dragged back in when some little Russian prick stole his car and killed his dog. And from there, well, let's just say things kinda got out of hand. But still, John could handle it. And that speaks to really how good he is in a fight. John's strong enough to go up against almost anyone, and has legitimately sent people flying backwards with his punches and kicks. He's also definitely no stranger to fighting against bigger, stronger guys. He even fought against a world-class sumo wrestler, or a guy at the very least who was a promising up-and-comer. And then when he fought against 7'4" Boban Marjanovic, well, John just beat him to death with a book. Definitely one of the more humiliating ways John's killed someone. I don't know which one's worse, getting taken out with a pencil or a library book. I mean, both are bad, both are real bad. What's even worse though is that John just casually puts it back after he's done. Like, well, don't need this anymore, I guess I better check it back in. So bottom line, John's strong. He's also really tough. His suit is actually bulletproof, meaning he's able to take all sorts of shots and keep on going. He's taken some pretty big falls and tumbles before. Punches and kicks don't seem to have any effect on him. He's like the Terminator, just picks himself up and keeps on going and going and going. You can even create a whole category here just about all the car crashes that John has been in. Like, you shouldn't be able to get hit by a car and walk it off that easily. You really shouldn't. But that's just the world that we live in here. John Wick is immune to car crashes. Also, I guess immune to being thrown off buildings. But don't worry, the metal railings slowed him down. What? Are we sure that John is even human? To top it all off, John isn't just borderline superhuman. He's also gotta be one of the best fighters I've ever seen. He's more of a grappler than anything else, but works in stuff like judo, Krav Maga, and jiu-jitsu to take down pretty much everyone he's come across. Seriously, it feels like almost every single assassin out there has taken their shot at John over the course of these 4 movies. They've all failed. His go-to move is just to flip people around and get them on the ground, and then proceed to shoot them in the head. Which, I mean, hey, simple enough. It works. Why change it? Keep it simple. And if John doesn't have any guns handy, well, he can kill a guy with pretty much anything else, so not really that big of a deal. And plus, John always has guns handy, so what are we even talking about? He's insanely accurate, is just constantly hitting headshots like it's nothing. He can take out guys in an instant. If John is coming at you with a gun, you're basically already dead. Not even bulletproof armor can keep you safe. Seriously, these guys are trained fighters wearing the best armor that money can buy, top grade stuff, legitimately bulletproof stuff, and John still just plowed through them with guns. The man is the best there is. He's a living legend. Put it simply, he's the Baba Yaga. Special Agent 007, with his license to kill, is the key spy for MI6, and he's the one who's always gonna get the job done, no matter how many people he's gotta kill, or how much pain and torture he's gotta endure, or how many women he's gotta sleep with, or alcohol he's gotta drink. He'll do it all in order to get the job done. The Daniel Craig James Bond is supposed to be the most realistic and grounded, which isn't hard when you're comparing it to this, but it's kind of funny because even though it is the most realistic, at the same time, he's like the closest to being a superhuman dude. he's strong enough to tackle guys through walls, punch through walls, or just barrel right through walls. He's also really strong enough to break off the little handle on a door, hold on to the bottom of this elevator and do like the world's most dangerous pull-up. Just pull off all sorts of crazy stuff. Now, while James is fast, while James is agile, he's been in enough rooftop chases to convince me that he can keep up with anyone. I think the best thing with it, when it comes to speed, is actually just how quickly he's able to react to problems and come up with solutions. I mean, Bond's seriously impressive at this. I mean, just look at this. He had a car coming right at him, had nowhere to go, and so had to dodge it super quick. That's crazy impressive. I mean, I couldn't do that. But I also couldn't do half the stuff that Bond does, so that's probably not a good comparison. But basically, Bond's always so quick to analyze and react to problems and figure out a way to not just survive, but actually grab the advantage from it. When you stop and think about it, it's really insanely impressive. But that's not all. James Bond is also crazy tough, super durable, to withstand a whole lot of torture and everything. Bond has no problem taking falls. He can just brush them off, keep on running, keep on fighting, keep on keeping on. He survived a pretty nasty car crash, like a really nasty car crash. He took a whole bunch of punches and kicks and attacks from Dave Bautista, who's crazy strong, who's crazy tough. I mean, in this scene, he was getting hit in the balls and actually ended up just laughing it off, which my fellas out there know that's a pretty insane thing to do. Now, when Blofeld literally drilled into Bond's skull and started messing around in his brain, well, Bond was back at it, just mowing down people left and right. But Bond isn't just this pinnacle of like a guy in shape. He's also an insane fighter, one of the most highly trained killers in all of MI6. He also kind of fights like a man possessed, like a pit bull who just bites down and doesn't let it go. More like a hammer than a scalpel. I could keep on throwing out metaphors, but I think you get the idea. He's plowed through a lot of guys over the years, fought against them in all sorts of situations, literally all sorts of situations, even took out guys while he was all handcuffed and tied up. And he's also really good at improvising throughout fights, looking around and making makeshift weapons, really just using whatever's on hand, whatever he can in order to take people out. And that's not even mentioning just how good James Bond is with guns. Like seriously, he's so good. He's able to disarm and down other people in just seconds, take out multiple guys all at once. He's regularly taking out people before they can take him out. And then when he was escaping from Blofeld, this one's really crazy, he killed like a dozen guards without breaking a sweat, taking some of them down at some pretty extreme range. Ethan Hunt is a senior field operations agent for the Impossible Missions Force, an elite top-secret espionage and covert ops agency that handles dangerous and highly sensitive international missions. So basically missions that everyone else thinks are impossible. He's tough, uniquely trained, and a highly motivated individual, an expert without any equal, and described as immune to any countermeasures. He's also incredibly intelligent and almost recklessly daring in his missions. I can't tell you how many life-threatening feats this guy's attempted over the years. Some legit superhuman stuff, and he makes it look just oh so casual. He's strong enough to battle against bigger and more powerful opponents like Kagan or August Walker, but his true strength is shown off when he does stuff like climb up to the top of a helicopter or hang onto the side of an airplane while it's taking off. That's legit some superhuman stuff right there. He's been in car crashes, helicopter crashes, been in even more car crashes. He's straight up been hit by cars, and he's got the endurance of an absolute madman. Ethan can run and run and run and basically never get tired, even when he's just in a full-on sprint for minutes on end. Hunt's physical dexterity is also just off the charts. He can rock climb without any safety gear, catch himself as he's falling. The lunatic even ran straight down the freaking Burj Khalifa, then turned around and ran sideways, all the while calculating in his head just when to jump and release. Almost made it too. Ethan is also an extremely skilled martial artist, and he routinely shows off his excellent fighting skills, regularly taking down bad guys and terrorists throughout the movie, oftentimes doing it in just a couple of moves. In the second installment, we see him using techniques inspired by capoeira, which fits with his profile from the first movie. He also uses Aikido, karate, boxing, judo, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu during the fight of Ambrose. In the third movie, while still using some capoeira, he also utilizes techniques from Kisi, and in a training sequence with Lindsay Ferris, he was teaching her the Filipino martial arts of Eskrima. He displays several extremely complex techniques in the fourth movie, including capoeira and taekwondo moves. During his prison escape, he mainly uses karate and judo moves, resorts to combined capoeira, ninjutsu, taekwondo, and karate moves. During the fifth movie, he uses taekwondo and wrestling, including drop kicks during his escape from capture of Ilsa later in the fight at the opera, as well as Muay Thai. Then during the sixth movie, he's shown to be using fighting techniques from Kisi, as well as techniques from Eskrima, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, and Krav Maga. He's genuinely one of the best out there, nearly unrivaled in skill and training. It's almost like Ethan Hunt is the living embodiment of destiny, and once he's accepted a mission, you can be sure he's gonna finish it. Jason Bourne, born as David Webb, is a rogue CIA operative and former assassin of Operation Treadstone, a Black Ops group from the Central Intelligence Agency, who betrays the interests of the USA on several counts, is now on the run. Bourne is genetically augmented to be the perfect operative, being heightened to peak strength, speed, and durability for a man his age. He can easily overpower grown men, throw them around, snap necks, and break bones, even against other highly trained killers. He's also ridiculously tough, not just taking a bunch of punishment in the fights, but he's also walked off car crashes, multi-story falls, explosions, and even extensive torture. He's kept on going through all of it. Not to mention, he's lightning fast while in a fight. He can take down multiple men in just a few seconds, to able to block and dodge all sorts of attacks coming his way. As a former highly trained CIA assassin, Bourne is an incredibly skilled martial artist, an impressive fighter, having been trained extensively in several martial arts techniques, as well as being considerably experienced in combat operations. He's able to take down pretty much everyone he comes up against, even other highly trained operatives and killers. His fighting style is defined by his tactical skill and ruthlessness, as well as just his physical power, using the environment to his advantage. Anything in his hands is a lethal weapon, as Jason Bourne is taking down other operatives using everything ranging from a pen to a hand towel to a rolled up magazine. But of course, Bourne's also very good with a gun in his hands. His Treadstone file makes it clear that Jason is almost superhumanly accurate with firearms, an expert with pretty much any gun that he can get his hands on, and he can easily shoot people, take them out no matter what's going on around him. Lastly, well, Treadstone didn't just augment Bourne's physical abilities, but his mind as well. He's incredibly smart, a tactical genius, a master of situational awareness, and always manages to stay multiple steps ahead of his opponents. He's skilled at coming up with plans on the fly, understanding his enemy and their strengths and weaknesses, and all of this has combined to make Jason Bourne one of the most dangerous and effective spies and assassins the world has ever seen. So, who wins here? Who's coming out on top? Well, let's break it down. Now, these four guys are genuinely some of the best fighters out there, both in a hand-to-hand fight or with guns and other weapons. I mean, pretty much any one of them could take down a whole group of thugs and not even break a sweat. In fact, we've routinely seen them act like one-man armies. But the difference here is that they're all going to be fighting against each other. So all four highly skilled fighters. And they're not going to be going up against an army of thugs. And that kind of spells bad news for some of these guys. Like take Ethan, for instance. Because, sure, he's got arguably the strongest punch here. He was able to fight against Sean Ambrose and pull off some of the sickest jumps and kicks you've ever seen. And he was able to beat up on Superman. But he's also struggled against particularly skilled fighters too. I'm especially talking about that guy in the bathroom, the decoy John Lark. Ethan was getting all whooped up and down by that guy. It was a particularly bad showing for him. And honestly, you can kind of say the same for Bond too. Sure, James Bond has been able to fight against plenty of guys in the past, but it's kind of hard to argue that any of them really rivaled him in skill. Sure, they might have been stronger than him or more powerful than him, but none of them were necessarily more skilled than him. And that's not to say that James Bond is just leagues and leagues above everyone else in this universe, so he's never run into a rival for his skill. I mean, I'm also not saying that he's not insanely skilled, just that the guy is a functional alcoholic who's past his prime. I think it's more likely that James Bond just doesn't have much experience fighting against other insanely skilled fighters, rather than just he's the absolute pinnacle of fighting. Now, what's my point here? Well, it's just that while Hunt and Bond are off on their spy missions and saving the world, not really fighting against the top fighters on Earth, it's basically like John Wick made it his personal mission to go encounter all the best fighters across the planet and beat them all. I mean, just look at Kane and Zero. Both of those guys are way more skilled than Bond or Hunt, even with Kane being blind. And John was able to beat them both in fights. Sure, he didn't technically beat Kane, but he also definitely wasn't trying to beat Kane because Kane was his buddy. Then as for Jason Bourne, well, Bourne has canonically never lost a fight. He's an expert at using his environment, playing to his opponent's weaknesses, and all of that has helped him to absolutely plow through other elite fighters. Really, a hand-to-hand fight between Wick and Bourne will be dang near a toss-up. Genuinely good argument that either one could win. They even both have experience taking down foes with pens and pencils. I think the edge goes to Wick though, because while they've both struggled against just one fighter, and also both have taken down whole groups in a hand-to-hand fight, I think the difference is that everyone John Wick fights against is a highly skilled assassin. He's able to take down whole groups of them. Think that gives Wick the slight edge. And then don't even get me started on guns. Now I think you can kind of go ahead and throw Ethan out, just because while I'm sure he counts as a world-class marksman, that's just not gonna cut it against Bond and Bourne and Wick. I mean, these are three of the best guys in all of fiction. Just being world-class isn't enough. Now, Bourne might canonically have superhuman accuracy and not miss any shots, but James Bond has also pulled off some absolutely ridiculous shots before. Really though, I don't think it's gonna matter when you're going up against John Wick. He fights in a whole different way. He basically trademarked gun fu, And you definitely don't want to square off against this guy in a gunfight. I mean, you just gotta watch one of these movies to see that this is what John does. This is what he's all about. Headshot, headshot, headshot. All it is headshots. He's just too good here. He's just too good. And at the end of the day, I'm still gonna go with John's track record and just how many times he's done it. It'd be a great fight, but ultimately, John Wick wins.